Okay, everybody, we back. If I'm driving you crazy, I apologize. I'm driving myself crazy. I swear, if this computer goes if it messes up again, this OBS, I'm going to go on my cell phone and I'll go live from my cell phone. That's what's going to happen. But I don't know what's up. This has never done this before, having these issues with trying to go live from my OBS and my computer. So I don't know what's going on. But anywho, a live was recorded that was only like 11 minutes ago. I'm gonna just leave that up there for now, and then I'll just delete that later since I'm doing a new live. But anywho, please come back in. Please hit the like button so we can discuss the hot topic of the day, which is regarding the famous singer Ashanti's. Somebody's alleging that her father, Thomas Kincaid Douglas, allegedly impregnated them 3 times before they were of a legal age. So, 3 times before she was 15 years old. That is what Stephanie Tyler is alleging regarding Ashanti's father, Thomas Kincaid. And we're going to discuss this tonight. Now, I know somebody was in the live earlier, Silly Mommy, and she was stating, what's up with the parents? Where's the parents when all this was going on? And I was like, I'm getting all into that, okay? I'm getting all into that. But I want to give a second for everybody to come on in, come back in. Again, I do have the phone lines open as well. I do have the phone lines open. So therefore, if you guys, want to call in, please feel free to call in, while we're discussing this. And let me pull back up my conference. Again, I apologize. I don't know what's going on with the system today. It's like, I don't know if it's YouTube. I don't know if it's my computer. I don't know if it's OBS. I just know this doesn't normally happen. Having these issues that I'm having tonight, trying to keep the live open. So I'm like, dang. I hope I'm not. I don't think I'm being flagged or anything. I've never been flagged before. So I don't even want to, let me knock on wood. I don't even want to just think about that. But anywho, okay, I got the lines open. I got the conference site open so I can tell when people are calling in. Again, we're going to be talking about a very hot topic today that just came out today regarding Ashanti's father, the singer Ashanti father. You know, baby, baby, baby. That one who sing that baby baby song and it says it like baby 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 like 200 times during the song. Yeah, that Ashanti. But anyway, Nelly's ex-girlfriend Ashanti. But yes, again, somebody by the name of Stephanie Tyler is alleging that Keontae. Why I keep saying Keontae? Because I was talking to my homegirl earlier. Her name Keontae. Ashanti, her father, is alleged that he has impregnated a child 3 times before that child was 15 years old. And we're going to get all into it. Again, I got this information from TK's interview earlier today. So I just jotted down a few things that I wanted to discuss with you guys. But keep in mind, most of this happened before Ashanti was even born. Like the lady who's making these allegations, she was even, she claimed she was around when Ashanti was born. She was actually one of the small kids in Ashanti's parents' wedding. So that tells you how far back this goes. This is back like in the 70s. Because I think Ashanti wasn't born till like, I can't remember what exact year she was born. Y'all can look it up and let me know. But so we're gonna jump right into this, and I'm gonna give you the information that I have on it. Let me pull up my little notes here. Pull up my little notes. Okay, here we go. Okay, the lady who's making these allegations, again, her name is Stephanie Tyler. And she claims that she had met, like, I know a lot of y'all who haven't heard about the story probably wondering how this little girl, get in contact with Ashanti's father, allegedly. Everything in here is allegedly. Back in the 70s, when it was, back in the 8-track days, when they had the 8 tracks in the car, that far back, some of y'all too young for that, but that far back, this little girl at that time named Stephanie Tyler, she claims that she had met Ashanti's mother at a dance studio. Back then she said it was called the Glen Cove Lincoln House. It was like a boys club or something, but it had like a dance studio. It was like a boys club. It was like a daycare in there. It was like she said, a boxing ring in there. One of those type of centers. And this is where everything got started. This is where the allegations began, back there at that dance studio. And Ashanti's mother used to be have a dance group, and she had like several different age groups. She said there was like a 6 to 9, there was like a 10 to 13-year-old, and Stephanie claimed that she was in the 6 to 9-year-old group. She had, wanted to dance, and her mother, had took her to this dance class, thought that it would be, good for her to get out, mingle with other kids, her age and everything. And besides that, she wanted to dance. So she joined that dance group. And she claims that when she first joined the dance group, that, everything wasn't cool at first. She was only 8 years old. She claims Ashanti's mother, and her name is Tina Douglas, claimed that she was really nice. She was really cool, really laid back. She was a great dance instructor and everything. And because Stephanie claims that because she was so good, so talented, and Ashanti's mother Tina saw potential in her, she basically, made her like her little protege, took her under her wings, And Stephanie also claimed that her family, she had a big family. She said she had 5 sisters, and 2 brothers. So she had a pretty nice sized family. And they didn't always have everything. They didn't have a lot to go around. They didn't have the best of stuff like clothes and, things like that. So, hey, Shish Trish, what's going on? So she claims she didn't have the best of, things and stuff. And I'm assuming by what she's saying is that Ashanti's mother, Tina, and her father had took her under her wings and made her like her little protege and everything, and started like doing stuff for her, like paying more attention to her. Again, she took her under her wings, made her protege. Things that she needed that her mother couldn't get her, like clothes, shoes, all kind of things, that little kids need. They would do that for her. And she claims that at first everything was cool when she started going to the dance group. Everything was cool. But she said the crazy thing was that Tina's husband, she alleges that he always came. Again, everything here is allegedly. If y'all watched the video earlier today, TK made sure she said, I might be with you, sis, but I still have to say everything is allegedly. Thanks for hitting that like button. Hold on. Somebody's inboxing me. Somebody inboxed me. What happened to the video? I had to start the video like 3 times because it was kept messing up. So let me inbox somebody real quick because they're like, are you live or not? Okay. Let me send her the link to this live so she can join the live. But yeah, so anywho, she claimed everything seemed cool at first, but the strange thing was that she claimed Ashanti's father always came, to the dance lessons and would sit around and he would be playing with all the kids, throwing them across his lap, just playing with them, tickling them. You know how you play with little kids. But she said it went from, that's how it first started off. She was just, he would come and he would be playing to the kids. And she noticed that he would start paying a lot of attention to her compared to a lot of the other kids. But she was 8 years old, she claims. So she was like, I really didn't know, what was going on. I just know this man liked to play a lot. And that's where it all started. Okay, let me send her this link real quick. She's like, okay, paste, send. Okay, boom. All right, I'm just sending the link. Some people is asking for the link to the live. Okay, so okay, I think Chianti is in the live now. All right. Shush, Trish, you lost. I'm going to break it down to y'all. I'm sorry, I got distracted for a minute because somebody was hitting me up in my inbox talking about how they get to the live. So I had to send them the link. Please, y'all, share the live. If you have a community tab, please share the live. Share it on your Facebook. I know I was supposed to go live at 10 and we late because of technical difficulties. But so please share the live on your Facebook, Twitter, IG, wherever. Thank you. I appreciate that. So I'm just reading you Stephanie's allegations. It's not word for word, but I just jotted down some of the things that she said. Okay. She claims that when she was about 8 years old, that's when she started the dance group. But when she was around 9 years old, she claims that's when he allegedly started feeling on her and stuff, um, like touching her, and he would say little things like, "I'm sorry, didn't mean to touch you right there on your chest or wherever. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to touch you between your legs. It was an accident. If he would do things like that at first, and then it got more of he just started doing it without apologizing. She claims that the first time he touched her was, if you're from New York or from that area, near like Glen Clove, am I saying that right? Glen Cove. Um, it was she said it was a road called Old Tappan Road behind a Glen Cove Middle School, which I actually think is a high school nowadays. But anywho, she said, the first time he had told her, to pull her pants down, and she was like, "What? Now let me backtrack before I even get into that, y'all, because when she claims that Ashanti's mother, Tina, took her under her wings, right? Made her her protege. So a lot of times, Tina, she claims, had her. Like, she would pick her up from her mom, she would take her with him, she would take her shopping, they would have her at her house. I mean, she was like, literally, she had kind of became part of the family. And she claims that Tina and her husband, Ashanti's father, had told her mom that, they would take care of her, they would protect her, they would help her out, any way they could. And she claims they bought her clothes, they, fed her, they would get her hair, just all kind of stuff that you would do for a child. Just normal stuff that her mother probably, they had a big family. So I'm sure her mom trusted them. And I'm sure she was like, okay, this is one child that I know I can get help from these decent people. Mind you, this is way before Ashanti came along, before she was even born. So it wasn't like they was like, oh, okay, Ashanti, her, she's famous. Her parents, took to my child who's a dancer. It was nothing like that. Ashanti was nowhere. She was probably a thought in the heavens at that time. So anyway, she said that's where it first started. He pulled up, behind a middle school and started fondling her and messing with her. Then she says another year later, when she had turned 10 years old and she started to get her menstrual, he had tried to do more with her. And she again told him, no, we can't do this, because she claims that around that time, back in the 70s, and I'm a 70s baby, so I can admit, I can't ever remember my mother back in the day telling me, if somebody touch you, say this. If somebody do this, say this. If somebody, you better go tell. You better call 911. You better tell your teacher. I don't ever remember having that conversation when I was a young child. But I mean, some of y'all, my parents might have had that conversation with y'all. But again, like I said in my earlier live, one thing I am familiar with is back then also a lot of parents, a lot of grandparents, a lot of even kids, like victims, that things would get swept under the rug. Sometimes when you did tell, it was probably usually somebody close to the fam or your relative or, uncle, cousin, brothers or something like that. And back then it wasn't a lot of, oh, we gonna call the cops and turn your uncle in or call your cops and turn your cousin in. It was a lot of families back then sweeping stuff under the rug, which I know all so well because I have a lot of friends and family members who can testify to that happening. But that's another story for another day. Maybe on the Hood Table channel. Which y'all better make sure y'all subscribe to. The Hood Table. DAHOOD Table. 3 words. The Hood Table. And we are going to be over there probably Friday night or either Sunday night. But I'll post the notification. But anyway, back to what I was saying about these allegations. Stephanie claimed that around the time when he started, just fondling her before it got really deep, she would say, I don't want to do this. She didn't know quite how to handle it because she was only, 9 when it first started. She said, the touching. And he would tell her, he would threaten her, don't tell nobody, especially don't tell Tina, Ashanti's mother, don't tell Tina, because if she do, she might not believe you, and she might, put you off the dance team, and, et cetera, et cetera. So, you said you know it too well? It's Trish. Oh, good. Somebody, I got an amen in the church. I got an amen in the church. But, it happened anyway. It happened anyway. And once she turned 10, she had started having her menstrual. And that's kind of young for, some females. But it usually happens between the age of 10 and 12-ish, your menstrual. So she started having her menstrual. Again, around that age, she claimed that he also started hanging with her sister, who was older, like in her 20s. And he started, like, wooing her sister and stuff, to kind of get away into the house. Now, at this time, she claims this is before Ashanti's parents were married. So, they were just dating then. So, allegedly, at this time, he was messing with her, Stephanie, from the age of 9 to 10, because we still only at 9 and 10 right now. Also, he was kicking it with her sister, who was in her 20s, and she alleges that he had a lot of other girlfriends. So, at the time when she was around 10 years old, he started, talking to her sister. But she said when he first started coming over to their house to talk to her sister, she didn't know. She was still young then, so she didn't know what kind of relationship, what kind of friendship they had, if it was just friendship, if it was platonic, if it was sexual. She didn't know at that time, but she soon learned that it was. She claimed that he started doing stuff for her mom, like, helping her out with things. She said her dad was a heavy drinker. So he would always, like, bring liquor and stuff over for her dad. Basically, she was saying that he started really being really nice to her family, and using certain reasons to come by the house because he was actually, messing with her too at a young age. Now, I'm like, wow. She claims that he was messing with her, and she wasn't even 12 yet. Not even a tween yet. And messing with her sister, and messing with other ladies. So, what happened next was Tina and Ashanti's father. She said they lived in Queens at that time with Tina's mother. So, they lived with Ashanti's grandmother. This was before Ashanti was born. She said they lived in a 2-bedroom apartment in Queens. And a lot of people was always asking, like, dude, why is this little girl always with you, man? Like, his cousins would ask, his mother would ask, his friends would ask, just people in general would ask, why is this child always with you? This little girl. And he would tell everybody the same story, and he also made her memorize the same story. And basically that story was, her mother's having hard times. She, needs help with the kid, and me and my girl, Tina, Ashanti's mother, we told the mother, because we met her at dance, Ned met her at dance. Basically, they was helping this mother take care of their child. Kind of like a godparent type of thing. When a parent might need a little extra help financially, with clothes or whatnot, sometimes that's where the godparent will pick up. And so that's what he would tell everybody, and people would be looking at him and speculating like, okay. And she even claims that once his mother, who they were living with when they were young before they got married, she claims that his mother even kept asking him, why are you with this child? If you and Tina is both supposed to be helping this mother, take care of the child or whatnot, why is she never with Tina? And his mother, Stephanie said his mother told him, you need to stay away from that little girl. And you know what that meant. You know what that meant. If a mother or grandmother tells you, you need to stay away from that little girl, it was probably a possibility that the mother knew that something bad could come about from that situation. A grown man hanging with a child who's like 19 years old all the time. All the time. She claimed that everywhere he went, she went. When she wasn't in school, he would take her with him to work. She said he used to be like, one of those people who install car stereos. He would have her sitting at his job all day, like on the weekends or in the summer. And she would be out there playing with little kids and playing with dolls and, just run around, jump rope, stuff that normal kids supposed to do. And while he's in there working all day, she claims he kept her on a really, really tight leash because of the fact that he always wanted to know where she was, what she's doing, and who she's talking to, and making sure she wasn't, saying things that he didn't want her to say about their relationship. So this is what she claims, that he kept a tight leash on her. He would take her to school, pick her up from school. I mean, all this, this little girl, 19 years old, the child that Tina took under her wings allegedly, became the child that he took under his wings, if you know what I mean. So anyway, let's move along. I'm just giving y'all a little backdrop, just giving you a little backdrop of what I've learned on the video. So Tina and Ashanti's father at that time, she said, was living with his mother. And there was like off of the kitchen there was a bedroom. And I guess that was where Tina and Ashanti's father, lived. His name is Thomas. His nickname is Kincaid. But anyway, she claimed that a lot of times he would take her to the house because she was always hanging out there anyway. Because I guess before Tina had got suspicious. Hey, Mama Sislo. Hey, what's going on with you? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, she covered it like earlier this afternoon, and that's what we're discussing right now. But I think TK did it around like 4 or 5 this evening, somewhere around there, because I caught it when I was at work. So after like Tina started getting suspicious, she wasn't over there so much, so Tina thought. But what had happened was that Stephanie is claiming there were times where she would be at the home and Tina would be gone. And sometimes Tina would come back to the house and they were either having sex or just finished having sex or in the shower. He treated this child, allegedly, as a natural grown woman. Ain't it sad, Golden? Like when she's claimed that she said we used to take showers together. You like 10 years old with a man in the 20s and he talking about wash my back and I wash yours. Ain't that crazy? I mean, that is like really crazy. And one time she said Tina had left and left and had to go somewhere, but then she said she came right back because she forgot something at the house. And when she got to the house, she was trying to get into the house and she couldn't get in because the latch was on the door. And she was banging on the door, what's going on in there? What's going on in there? Open the door. Ashanti's mom, what's going on? Open the door. And he was trying to tell her the latch was stuck. But she claims what really was going on was she was getting dressed and trying to put back on her clothes as fast as she can. She's a little kid. She's trying to put her clothes on as fast as she can. So she said he was holding up the door so Tina couldn't get in. But he was lying, saying the latch was stuck. Try to give the little girl Stephanie some time to get dressed. Anywho, when she finally got into the house, the little girl Stephanie, she said, I was looking disheveled. My hair was all over the place. My shirt was on, the wrong way, like inside out. She said, I just looked suspicious. Her boyfriend looked suspicious. Ashanti's father. Her boyfriend looked suspicious. And Tina looked directly at me and said, what's going on? Why was the door locked? Why was the chain on there? And she said she just froze. She couldn't speak. She couldn't do nothing because she just knew that they were busted. You said you was in tears listening to it. I don't blame you because I mean it's a sad story, and again, everything in here is allegedly, but I must have to say she sounded believable. She sounded believable. She sounded a lot more believable than that doggone Star Marie. Let me just say that. So, anywho, I was like, oh, you said you need, oh, you talking a newsworthy update. You said you need my email address? Okay, I'm gonna send you my email address. But, and then, so, she looked at her, she said she just knew. This is what Stephanie is saying. She said, I just knew that Tina knew what was going on. She said, I wanted her to say, I wanted her to ask, I wanted her to probe, I wanted her to push to get me to say what was going on, because she said she was too scared because all the times he threatened her to say something. And she basically told her after that, she didn't want her back at her dance class. She didn't want her on her dance group team anymore. She didn't ever want to see her face ever again. This was she told this 10-year-old girl, and told him he better take her home. Can you believe that? Like, that part got me the most, because that part is what sometimes happens in a lot of scenarios. Again, as I was saying, back then, in the early 70s, in the 60s, a lot of stuff like this happened every day. Incest was really big back in those days, and people would sweep it under the rug. Parents would know, mothers would know, and they would sweep it under the rug, and they would just try to keep whoever the predator was away from the victim. You know what I mean? Like, just try to keep a closer eye on them. But law enforcement was hardly ever called, especially from where I grew up, from the hood. In the hood, law enforcement was hardly ever called. Why? Because a lot of people would be scared that somebody's come to snatch their kid. I do also believe that back in the day, not in this situation with Ashanti's parents, but back in the day, a lot of people was on the system way more than now. A lot of people, welfare, food stamps, in the cheese and bread butter line, receiving government assistance, living in low income housing. And 9 times out of 10, if a child was to go and tell somebody, CPS, a student, teacher, whatever, that somebody was raping them or something at home, they come to get that child. And the parent, who might know or not know, might end up facing charges. So I think that's something that had to do with it too. Back in the day, times now are a lot different, especially with the Me Too movement. Times now is a lot different. But anywho, back to the story. And again, anybody who saw the video or want to call in, the phone lines is open, so you can call in if you would like, to discuss this, if you would like. But so, at 8 years old, she met Tina and Thomas, Ashanti's parents. Started dancing at the place where Tina was, teaching dance. Gradually, over the age, and I want to say he was grooming her. I'm going to say that from the age of 8, he was grooming her. 9 years old, she claims that's when he was fondling her, playing with her. No, she said they didn't have sex yet, no penetration yet, when she got 10 years old. And it's crazy how she claims he waited till she was 10, I guess, was like, 10 is a good ripe age, that's the perfect age, 9 is too early, 8 is too early, 10, that's perfect. And that's when she started her menstrual as well. So, she started her menstrual, she thought What had happened was, because she didn't say exactly when she started her menstrual. She said she thought she started her menstrual. But what he told her was, you didn't start your menstrual. I broke your hymen. And she was like, huh? What's that? Like, she was 10 at that time. She's like, hymen, what's that? And I'm not gonna lie, at 10, 9, 8 years old, I didn't know what a doggone hymen was. So I can picture her like, what? A hymen? What? And he was like, he she claims he told her, have you ever heard boys go around talking about they didn't pop somebody cherry? And she was like, yeah, but okay, and so he tried to explain to her. She said he tried to explain to me, what he was referring to. Basically, her virginity was no longer her virginity. It was no longer hers. So this is crazy. This is crazy. I'm just like, wow. Uh, uh, Again, these is all allegations from Stephanie Tyler against Ashanti's parents. Ashanti, the singer. Um, Another time. Now, after she said after Tina had put her, Ashanti's mom, after she put her off her dance team and told her she didn't ever want to. I'm just like, this is all allegedly, but I swear this story just rings. It just sends like vibrations through you, because a lot of people my age understands what exactly went through with this child. And for a grown woman to tell you, I don't ever want to see you again, but she's still with him. You feel me? Like, the things that would go through a young child's mind is like, okay, I'm treated like trash. I'm disgusting. I'm horrible. All those thoughts going through your head at a very young age, and it's like, and that's why people don't tell. And she said that was one of the reasons why she never told anybody, was because of the way that she said Tina treated her. She said she knew. She said that had to be the only reason why she put her off the dance team. And for her to take her under her wings, buying clothes for her, shopping for her, taking care of her, making her her protege because she was a good dancer. And then all of a sudden, she got to darn near break down the door to her own home and find her boyfriend there looking crazy. And this little child all disheveled, just looking a hot mess. And they locked the door on her and wouldn't let her in and all that kind of stuff. And then you tell the child, I don't ever want to see you again. And you can't dance on my dance team anymore. Yeah, I'm just saying. This happened a lot back in the day. But anywho, so they kept obviously seeing each other. He kept seeing her. He kept tabs on her. This little child, before this had happened, they had got married. Before Tina had basically so-called washed her hands of the little girl, Tina and Thomas had got married. This was still before Ashanti was born. And the little girl, was even in the wedding. Like, in the wedding. Not at the wedding, but in the wedding, she claims. She got pictures of her in the wedding, which we saw on TK's video. She had throwback pictures of her in the wedding. So that's how close this child was to Ashanti's parents. They literally had took her under her wings. The father, a little more under his wings, allegedly. But so basically, before then, she had also saw Ashanti be born. So she was there before Ashanti. She was involved with Ashanti's father, she claims, before Ashanti was even born. Because later in the live, y'all heard how she had told Ashanti, because Ashanti had eventually reached out to her. Later in the years, like more recent than latter, because she had tried to. Stephanie claims that she had tried to reach out to Ashanti's mother because she wanted to ask her, why, why did you keep leaving me? Did you keep leaving me with your boyfriend turned husband? Why, when you saw me there looking scared and just all a mess, when you couldn't get in the house because he locked you out, and you knew, you had to know something was, why did you leave? She's been writing her letters. She said she wrote her letters. She even hit her in her DMs. She said she even hit her in her DMs on IG. And still, no response. No response. At all. Like, if somebody trying to hit you up in your DMs, if somebody's sending you letters saying what your spouse, your husband did to them as a little child, and you just totally ignore it, like, ain't that crazy? Like, that to me makes it seem like you're either guilty or you knew something was going on or not. But you know what? Not even gonna put all the blame on Tina. You know, most of the blame belongs to him. Per her, allegations. Most of the blame goes to him and her mom. Like, we always have to speculate the parents. Your 8, 9, 10-year-old child. Okay, I get it. Could have been a very, very struggling mother. It was a lot of kids. She had 5 brothers, 2 sisters. Big family, big family. And again, like I said earlier, the mother could have been, needing some help with the kids. So I get it, how somebody lends a helping hand and you accept it. You think you trust these people. But for your child to, like, she said that sometimes her mother would tell her, when he would come pick her up, have my child home by a certain time. She said he never did. He never listened to her mom. He brought her home whenever he was done doing whatever he was doing. And from the way she made it sound was like, being that, he was with Tina and he had a job and they had other things going on, that a lot of times she claims that she was just there. He would drive her around to his jobs and she would just be sitting around or playing around with other kids or whatnot until he was ready to do what he wanted to do with her, and then he would bring her home. And one time she claimed that, hold on, let me get a drink. She claimed one time that Tina had caught her in a van because, okay, y'all remember them old school vans? My homegirl's father had one when we was growing up in the church. You know them old school vans? They had like the little table. And what do you call them vans? I forgot, but they had the tables. They had like tables in there. They had chairs that kind of like spun around, and then like had something like where you could lay the back into like a bed or something. They had curtains all around the van, and there was some big old vans where you could fit like 10 people up in them vans. Anywho, she described, one of those type of vans with curtains. And she said that one time Tina had caught her hiding in the van because she said he would hide her in the van sometimes and he would tell her, just stay in the van, and I'll be down there, or you come up when you see Tina leave, then you get out the van and you come up to our apartment. So Tina had caught her in the van. And she said she yelled at her and she was like, what are you doing? Why are you in the van? What are you doing here? She was still young at that time. And again, she said she was shocked. She was nervous. She was just stuck. And again, she was just like, I wanted Tina to just ask me straight up, is my man making you do things you don't want to do, or is he having sex with you, or what's going on? But she just seemed to be always enraged at her and yelling at her, but not him. some reason. And she would tell him to take her home. There was so many incidences that she described on this video of how many times that she was at their home. Like after Ashanti's parents moved from her mother? I think it was her mother's house. Yeah, and then they got their own place. When they got their own place, he would tell her, hide down there. Don't come up the stairs. Use the elevator. Different things to get her into the house. This is as a young child. And that's why I'm like, still, even if you're the parent and you trust these people with your child, it sounds like she was like away a lot. Like away from the house way more than she should have been away from the house. And your mother is cool with that. Like, I don't know. We had some freedom when we was growing up once we got to like teenagers. When we was younger, my mother was really, 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 really strict on us when we was younger, like before we became teen years. And then when we got around teen years, it was like, okay, you get a little more room on that leash. But you still better come home when I say come home. You better call in. You better, I want the phone number to where you at, whoever mama house. I want to talk to their mama. So it still was a little, mother parenting going on. Let me just say that. But the way that she was claiming that she was always with him and not with Tina, this is like after Tina she said, washed her hands from her. Because she thinks that Tina knew exactly what was going on. But they ended up still getting married. They ended up having, Ashanti. And she said she was there, when Ashanti was born. When she had talked to Ashanti. Now, mind you, TK has said she didn't agree with her reaching out to Ashanti. And I don't know how I quite feel about that. I don't know how I quite feel about that. Because I guess you have to be in the person's shoes to really know. Stephanie claims that all she wanted to do, she don't want money. She don't want to press charges. She's in her, she got to be like, this was before Ashanti was born. So she got to be like in her 50s now. Or 60, maybe 50. Yeah, probably like 50. Probably like 50. Close to it. But, she said she don't want anything monetary because, of course, a lot of people, obviously, from all the cases that we've seen lately, like with the Me Too movement and the Kelly, the Bill Cosby, just so many different people. It's not coming to me right now, but, the TV producer guy, his name isn't coming to me right now, but y'all know who I'm talking about. A lot of those people did take him to court, no matter how many years ago that was. They want to go to court. They want some type of compensation. All she wants to know, she just wants to talk to Tina. This is what she's claiming. She just wants to talk to Tina. She wants Tina to look her in her face and tell her that she did know. And if she did know, why didn't she stop it? Why didn't she do more? Why did she let it continue? Because it continued, she claims, well until she was like 15 years old. When she was around the age of, I told you at the beginning, she had 3 kids by Ashanti's father, she claims. But, being that she was young, she had an abortion. She claims he paid for each one of the abortions. How she got the abortions? She said there was this lady who stayed, out in the Queens area, Glen Clove area, kind of where they stayed, Tina and them stayed. And it was somebody that he kicked it with. And so she said what happened was she, when she would go get her abortion, she would dress up, look a little more of an adult, look a little more older than she was, which was kind of hard to believe that even the people at the clinic believe that she said they didn't, though. This is what, let me backtrack a little bit. The lady that he took her to gave her ID. So she had somebody's ID to show that, to make it seem that she was older. Of course, she wasn't older. She had her first baby at 10, at 10 years old. And why I keep saying had her first baby, she got pregnant because she didn't have any of the kids. She had, I'm sorry, I'm like thinking ahead of myself right now, and I'm trying to read my notes at the same time. But she had got pregnant. The first time she got pregnant, he took her to this lady. The lady gave her ID. She went to the clinic with the ID. She said the people kept asking her, how old are you again? And she said nobody questioned her. Nobody was like, no, we need to verify some more information. She said, I was flat chested. I looked like a little girl. I was shaped like a little girl. She said I was not even shaped like a teenager. She wasn't even, bloomed or blossomed at that time. And so she said, I still can't believe. And then when she described how horrific the abortions was, because there was 3 altogether, when she describes how horrific the abortions was, at that time, when she got her abortions, she said they didn't put me to sleep. And, they gave you I think she said they gave her like a Tylenol or something, but they didn't give her, I'm sure nowadays they probably give you better medicine or something. But she said they didn't give her none. She said the pain was so horrible. And he would leave her there at the lady's house where she got the ID from for 2 days. And she would lie and tell her mom, that she was here or at Tina's house or, at their house instead of, at this other chick's house where she was laid up in pain from after each abortion. It's crazy. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. And also, when I was saying earlier that he kept tabs on her all the time because he wanted to make sure, when there's a predator and there's a child, one thing they usually do is keep close tabs on you. They remind you over and over, don't tell, don't tell, don't tell, don't tell. And sometimes threaten you, serious threatens you or your family, your dog, your cousins, your grandma, anybody close to you to keep you from telling. She claims when they finally got married, they took a honeymoon to the Poconos. She said he kept calling her and calling her from the Poconos as if he wasn't on no honeymoon. Checking on her, keeping tabs on her. By then she was getting a little older. And, she started to look at other guys. Guys started to look at her. And she wanted to actually, start messing with guys her own age. And the reason why I say messing and just not being attracted to them or want to talk to them, talk per se. Because when you're 13, 14, years old, you don't necessarily just, I want to mess with him. You know what I'm saying? It's usually, will you be my boyfriend? Yes. You just walk to school, you hold hands, you carry your books, you'll talk on the phone, you might kiss or hug every now and then. But, most kids around that age, that's all they do. That's all they do. Little petting and, stuff like that. She had started to want to mess around with other boys, and the reason why she thought that she wanted to was because she had been a victim of his since the age of 9 years old. And she claimed she just assumed it was, you did that to be accepted. You continually have sex with somebody you don't even want to have sex with because you want to be accepted. And that's what, some girls who's been abused, they just think that's what all guys want. All guys think that you gotta have sex with them, even if y'all just first met, only been dating for a week. He buy you a flower, one flower, and it's time to drop draws. A lot of young girls feel that way when they've been abused and they just really don't know any better. They just think that's what they're supposed to do. And the way he groomed her from the young age of 8, that's all she knew. That's all she knew. But one thing about it was, I don't know if this guy really loved her, Ashanti's father. She claims that he always would say he loved her. He would always buy her gifts. And the funny thing about it was, and I'm sure some of y'all who saw the video probably thought this was crazy too, was how everything she said, like some big items, like clothes, watches, shoes, things like that. Sometimes the same thing he would buy Tina, he would buy her. And she called it hush hush. She said he would buy her a hush hush bike, he would buy me a hush hush bike. He would buy her, a hush hush TV. He would buy me a hush hush TV. She was like, that was before even color TVs came out. But you get a newer model TV if you was one of us who was back then, with a black before the color TV came out. A new TV was a new TV. And when you don't know any better, when you don't have the option of black and white versus color back then, a new TV is a new TV. But basically, she was saying he would get her hush hush stuff, money, gifts, things like that. And then she said it seemed as well like he was giving her hush hush stuff too, like maybe to keep her quiet or to keep, It's one thing to buy gifts for your victim, as she called it, hush hush gifts, but then to also the other adult in the situation, the girlfriend turned wife, um, because they were dating when she first met them, and then they, got married. But to buy her gifts as well, like to buy her gifts, it seemed like she was, just trying to keep her from like I can't do it. I can't do it. If I have any idea that my spouse, mate, husband, boyfriend is messing with a child, you can't buy me nothing. You can't buy me no Maserati. You can't buy me no diamonds. You can't buy me a house. You can't buy me nothing for me to overlook that. Now, again, all this is alleged. All this is alleged. But she claims that he would buy both of them gifts like equally, and they sometimes, she was like, when Tina got skates, I got skates. When I'm like, the same gifts he's buying for this woman was the same gifts he was buying for this little child who was still around the age of like 12, 13, 14 by then. And also, don't forget, y'all, keep in mind, he was still allegedly dating Stephanie's sister, her oldest sister. He was dating her. Well, I wouldn't even call it dating. That's not dating. When you're messing with a child who, that's not dating. So let me retract that. He was messing with her and dating her big sister. Her big sister, she started to also get suspicious, because she said a lot of the times he would come over our house to see her big sister, go into her house, go into her room, do whatever, and then on his way out he would be like, I need to holler at your little sister. And she'd be like, well, no, she's probably asleep, don't bother her, don't go in there. Why you need to go into her room? What you need her for? She said he would go in there, and because of the fact that she already felt like dirty all the time, because she knew in her heart, in her gut, that what they was doing was wrong. And I can recall how she was saying she didn't know quite, because again, she said her parents nobody ever discussed stuff like that when she was growing up. She said, I didn't know if it was incest that was going on. I didn't know if it was child molestation that was going on. I didn't know if it was rape that was going on. But she said once she started to see things on TV, like hear stories or, watch TV shows or movies, she said she was able to determine where exactly she fit in that category. And she knew it was, child molest. She knew it wasn't incest, because she like, okay, incest is when they related to you, and we're not related. So that means it's child molestation or rape, statutory rape, something like that. And so she felt like disgusted, and because of the fact that her his girlfriend turned wife, Ashanti's mother, she claimed that she thinks she knew, like she really, really thinks she knew what was going on, but didn't do anything. And the way she told her, I don't want to ever see you again. You can't come to my dance group anymore. You can't dance and perform with us anymore. The way she was yelling at her and screaming at her, and stuff like that. She was like, well, if his own woman won't stick up for me, then who can she tell? I don't know why she didn't think that she couldn't tell her mom. And actually, she had mentioned several times how she thought that her mom might even have known. She really thought her mom might even have known what was going on. And like with when I was saying with the sister, she said that she would, after he would do what he did with her, he would come into her room, and she felt like so disgusted with herself, and so upset with herself because she knew that it just wasn't right. So sometimes when she knew he was coming over, she said she would unscrew her light bulb and just unscrew it a little bit, so the light, if somebody flipped it on, it won't come on. Not take the light bulb all the way out, but just unscrew it so it won't come on. And she said when he would come into her room, she would pretend like she was asleep, and he would pretend like he's just going in there to tell her something, just tell her something. But while the lights was down and before the sister came in, she said he would come in there and be all under the covers and touching on her and feeling on her. And then when the sister would come in, she'd be like, what you doing? What you doing? What's going on in there? And he would just leave. So it's just crazy how, like, a lot of people who was watching that video earlier was like, all these grown-ups, all these adults, like the sister was in her 20s. Tina, Ashanti's mom, was in her 20s. Remember the grandma? His mom, Ashanti's father's mom, she had told him, stay away from that little girl, stay away from that little girl. Like as if she knew that something was wrong. A lot of the friends and cousins and everybody, why did you hang around with that girl? Why is that girl always with you? All these people in this girl's lives, and not one person just stood up and was like, okay, you seeing this child too much. Especially after Tina didn't want to have anything to do with her, she says. Especially after she gave her the boot and put her off her dance team and stuff, after she had, saw them looking like something was going on. Instead of breaking up with him, instead of taking the daughter home to her mama and saying, look, we need to talk. I think something going on between your child and, my man. Instead of that, she just washed her hands from her, didn't want to see her again, and continued to be with Ashanti's father. But again, she has stated, a few times in the interview that she thought her mother, might have had something to do with it. You said, what you say, Chianti? You said, personally, I feel that the adults in the situation couldn't pick up on the signs that this child had to have been exhibiting. I don't know. You might want to watch the interview, because again, I'm not telling y'all word for word everything that was in the interview. I'm just giving y'all little bits and pieces. But from just like, okay, bringing a child that's like 10, 11, 12 years old, bringing a child home after 10, 11, midnight at night, a grown man bringing his child home really late at night all the time. And then she claims that some of his friends actually had witnessed certain things, between her and him. But nobody ever said anything. And after like 3 abortions, and after her trying to like date other people and stuff, she knew that she had to get away from him. She didn't know how to do it. She claimed she didn't know who to tell. She didn't know who to go through because she was scared that nobody would believe her. She had found out she said she found out that one of her aunties, lived, I think she said in Brooklyn, and I mean in Queens, I'm sorry, or maybe it was Brooklyn. And she found out, through her mom that she could catch the train there. And she asked her mom could she catch the train there to go visit her aunt. But what she actually did was she packed up some suitcases. She took them to school with her. And then after school, she said she hopped on the train and rode the train all the way to her aunt's house because she just wanted to just be as far as away from him. Because everywhere she was, she claimed he would find her. And I guess, from them hanging around together for a couple of years, he kept keeping ties on her and stuff. He knew everywhere she went, all her moves and everything. But the reason why she decided to pack her stuff, besides the fact that she was just getting tired of him, she said he started hitting on her, slapping her and shoving her around and stuff, because she was trying to date other guys like her age. And she said once upon a time there was a guy that she was seeing. And she said his name was, I think she said his name was Sax. And she said he had spent the night once at her sister's house because at that time her sister had a child, her oldest sister had a child, and her sister wanted her to babysit. And while she was over there babysitting, she had her dude come over and he spent the night. And she claims that Thomas came over there, Ashanti's father, that he came over there and he was beating on the door and yelling and trying to get in and all this kind of stuff, and she wouldn't let him in, and he bust the door in and came in there and told her she ain't supposed to be with nobody else, blah, 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 blah. So, and then she had claimed again how he was putting his hand on her, had messed up her eye and all kind of stuff after that. So she knew that she had to, get away from him. She had to escape him. When she went to her auntie's house and caught the train all the way up, to her auntie's house, she said she was there for a little while. Next thing she know, he was outside honking the horn. She was like, how did he find me? She caught the train all the way, upstate. And she said she wasn't even there no time, and he was outside honking his horn and demanding that she gets in the car and goes back home with him. All this going on, and he's still with Ashanti's mother. Her mom. It was just so many adults in the picture. I just can't see how nobody didn't think that this was odd behavior for this grown man to always be hanging around this child. It was just odd behavior. But yeah, so anywho, yeah, she had he ended up bringing her back. And so again, after all this, she started doing drugs. She said she started self-medicating herself. She was always like questioning God, like, why is this happening to me? Why was I, done like this? She said she had serious trauma to her insides because of the abortions. Because of, first of all, having sex at a very young age, with a grown man. And I'm like, the abortions that young, I can imagine, that could cause, some things to happen to you on the inside. But you said Manushka, you said they say it was odd, but no one pushed behind the lie. It was really odd to me. I'm just saying, like, I would just question if that was my child. Why is that dude always coming around you? Why do he always want to hang out with you? Why why he keep bringing you home late at night? And aren't you supposed to be at his wife's house or with his wife? Because the mom, when she first started the dance class at Tina's, and when Tina took her under her arms or under her wings, made her protege and whatnot, I'm assuming that the mom thought more that the child was going to be hanging around Tina a lot. She knew that she would be at the house with them. But I'm assuming that she probably thought she would be with Tina more than with the man. You said her family didn't see nothing wrong with his behavior, messing with my child. Right, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, Again, all this is allegedly, y'all. All this is allegedly. But, me personally, if this was going on with my child, what? All this one-on-one time with this man? No, no, no. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. No, not my child, not my daughter, not my son. But anywho, so eventually, later down the line, she had ended up getting sick. She had ended up getting stomach cancer. She said she had PTSD, nervous conditions, panic attacks. This was when she, became a grown woman. She would cry a lot. Even her husband now, she says, she always just wanted him to, I think, apologize for what he had done, take responsibility for what he had done by ruining her childhood, taking her virginity, ruining her childhood, forcing her to have all these abortions at a very, very young age. Can you imagine a 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, anywhere around that age, and having an abortion with no medication? She said they didn't give her no medication. They didn't put her under or nothing. Back, that was way back in the day. The trauma that it had to do to her body, and she said, the thing is, she said she was always like, she wasn't one of those 10, 11, 12-year-olds that had, okay, when I was in third grade, I used to get teased a lot because my boobage, it's still all there, but my boobage was like bigger than most of the girls in the school. So boys, boys being stupid, they would tease you, they would run behind you, pop your bra strap. I'm sure y'all remember stuff like that. It might have happened to some of y'all. But, just being boys, and she didn't have that built. She didn't have that built. She was really shaped like a little girl, and going to get these abortions and stuff using a fake ID. The clinics and them, nobody questioned anything. He was paying for the abortions. I guess they was like, hey, they paying. Everybody felt their munish. Everybody. And then, again, she said the sister had caught them, several times in compromising positions. And this man allegedly is messing with your older sister in her 20s. And she catch y'all, in some compromising positions. She don't even say anything. The sister who's dating the guy that's messing with you. So, anyway, when she got older, she claims that she reached out to Ashanti's mother, Tina, many times. She said many times I reached out to her, told her I wanted to talk to her, told her what, I want to discuss to her about what her husband, because, they've been married now. At that time, they had been married for a while. And she said, I wanted to just tell her, what happened, what her husband did to me, and what her boyfriend, before they got married, did to me. And she said she would never respond. She wrote her letters and everything, hit her up on, because Ashanti's mother has an IG. It's under the original momager. That's what it is. It's under the original momager. Yeah, the statute of limitations has more than run out. And she told TK, I don't want no money. She said, God has been very good to me. Me and my husband, we are well on that. We don't want no money. She said, I just want to know. I think for her, she even wants to know more than just to get an acknowledgement from him, more than him saying, he's sorry, whatnot. She made it seem like she wants to just sit down with Tina and have a conversation. And then she started giving out pointers to, parents who have young children. If this looks suspicious, if this, just trying to tell people, ask questions. If it don't look right, if it don't sound right, don't let them go. Don't let anybody just pick up your child, in her situation, with them having a huge family again, him and his wife Tina, Ashanti's mom and dad, taking this child under their wings and supporting that child and buying things for that child, clothes and all that. I'm sure it was like some stress taken off of her parent because they had a huge family. But still, mm-mm. We would have all been at the Goodwill. We be all eating at the pantry. We be at the thrift stores. Shoot, I might take up sewing just to try to make some clothes. I mean, something. Bread and butter, wick. We would have been on all that stuff before I just let my child just be with this guy all the time who's, well, he was obviously supporting her, sometimes buying bigger gifts because she called it hush hush gifts. So Ashanti's mom, she claims, never hit her back, never responded to her reaching out. So what did she do? When you go to Ashanti's mother's IG, which is the original momager, that's Ashanti's mom Tina, that's her IG. Like, one of the first names that you'll see, like, for recommendations is Ashanti. Like, right there. I went to it a few times today earlier. And it's like right there. And so she said she saw Ashanti and she was like, should I hit her up? Nah. Should I hit her up? She hit her up. And she sent her a message and she said the reason that made her send Ashanti a message was because Ashanti had made a post. She said Ashanti had made a post. I don't know what post, but she said she made a post and she was bragging about her dad is a great dad. Not bragging, but you know how we do when we just want to acknowledge somebody. You know, it's her father. You know, my father, I love him. He's so great. You know, something to that. You know, something to that. And she hit her up in her DMs and said, how well do you know your father? And she said Ashanti hit her back like, what you mean? Who are you? What's your name? Because you know, in our IGs and Twitters and Facebook and YouTubes and all that, we don't always use our, you know, real name or full name. She told her who she was, told her how she met, you know, her mom and dad, and she said, could we talk? Now, she told her that her father was a child molester, that he had impregnated her 3 times, forced her to have abortions, and of course, you know, she said Ashanti didn't believe her. She was like, I think you got the wrong, you know, I think you got the wrong Douglases because their last names was Douglas. Tina and Thomas Douglas, Ashanti's parents. She said, I think you got the wrong Douglases. She said, no, I don't. She started going on about, you know, telling her, you know, I was there when you was born. I was there. She was like, look at your mother's wedding pictures. I'm the little girl who was wearing such, you know, she was going back telling her, you know, certain incidences. I remember your dad's cousins. And, you know, she just started naming off all these people, you know, close to Ashanti's mom and dad. And so she was like, okay, you know, but how do I know if I should believe you? And she asked her, you know, could they meet? She said Ashanti asked her, could she meet her at like 11 o'clock at night, somewhere in some house, or I can't remember if it was a house or a street or somewhere, but it was 11 o'clock at night. And the lady was like, no. And I wouldn't either. I was like, no, I'm not meeting you at no 11 o'clock at night. She claimed she didn't have no really supporters. No supporters, you know, probably nobody who could ride with her. You know, see, back in the day, if we was going to meet somebody late at night, it was about to be like 2-3 carloads of us because we was not coming to talk. But you know, you know what I'm saying. Shoot, when you thought something's about to go down, you call it, hey girl, we about to be, yeah, come through, swing through, you know, we about to pick you up. But she claimed she didn't have nobody like that, you know, in her circle to go with her. So she's like, no, I'm sorry, I can't meet you at no 11 o'clock at night because it was just going to be her. And she said Ashanti told her it was going to be her and her sister. And she's still, smart thing, not saying that Ashanti would have done something or, you know, had something happen to her. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's smart because you should never meet nobody in the late middle of the night even if it is just to talk, especially when you don't know that person that well. So, you said TK covered. Yeah, she covered it this earlier today. Yep, she did. And I was like, okay, I'm glad she didn't meet her because hey, we don't know. We don't know if Ashanti would have came by herself. Because the thing that struck me was when she didn't want to meet her then. And so the next day, she was like, okay, we can meet, 8 o'clock in the morning, something like that. And she said, come to my father's house. Because I think by then, Ashanti's dad was staying in one place. And I think she said Ashanti was staying with her dad or something like that. So she said, come over there and meet me over there. And so when she got there, she said she pulled up to the house and saw all these cars, and she didn't feel comfortable because she said it was like a horseshoe driveway, and she didn't feel comfortable pulling up into the driveway, right on their premises. So she said she called her and she said, I'm gonna just stay right here, by the street, and can you just come out and talk to me? And she said Ashanti told her, no, just pull up, everything's gonna be fine, just pull up into the driveway, a little bit and she was like, okay. So she said she pulled up into the driveway just a little bit, just a little bit to get off the street, get off the curb and pull into the driveway. She said next thing she know, Ashanti's father, Thomas, had came up behind her car and up to her window, yelling, asking her, what is she doing there? What are you doing here? Why are you at my house? And she told him, I'm here to talk to your daughter. Me and your daughter been communicating. And he didn't believe her and wanted to see her phone for proof. Because he was like, I'm sure he was probably just shocked. Because they ain't seen each other in years. And so this is what she's claiming now. This is just what she's claiming. And she said they argued and whatever, and he flipped out, and she said she just drove off. She just drove off, and she started panicking and having flashbacks about what happened before. And she hit up Ashanti talking about, basically, was you trying to set me up? I thought we was going to talk. Why would you call your father out there and, the person who was accusing him of being a child molester or a statutory rape or whatever is outside. She was like, how could you do that to me? And she was just like all panicking and whatnot. Okay, you guys, y'all need to watch the whole video. It's a lot more to this story. I'm just breaking down a little bit for you guys. But it's all allegedly. Again, it's all allegedly. I don't know where it's going to go from here. But basically, she didn't get to talk to Ashanti. Ashanti wanted her to just put the letter that she wanted her, because this is the whole reason why she claims she reached out to Ashanti. She couldn't contact her mother. Well, she contacted her, but she never responded. Letters, phone calls, IG, she never responded. So she figured if she hit up Ashanti, maybe Ashanti can get her mother to talk to this lady. That's what she assumed. It didn't quite work out that way. So she said Ashanti told her, why don't you just leave your information, put it in the mailbox, put a letter in the mailbox, and I'll get it to my mom. And she told her, nope, I'm not doing that. I'm not putting no letter in your mailbox, because 9 times out of 10, would that letter have really gotten to her mom? Especially if that's her dad's house? That letter probably would have got burnt up and threw in the doggone fireplace. If it was left up to her dad, if all this is true. So anyway, what y'all think about all this? This is really crazy, really shocking. I don't know where this is going to go from here, but I can definitely see it trending all over the internet. I'm going to be paying close attention to Ashanti's social media and her mother's social media to see what their response, if they will make a response. They might not even make a public statement, but I'm thinking with these serious allegations that somebody's going to make a public statement. Somebody, whether it's him, a publicist, attorney, somebody is going to have to make a statement. Because I don't think, from what this lady is saying, she's like, okay, if he never apologizes, if she never talks to me, then I guess, it is what it is. She said, I tried because I didn't want to. When she had got stomach cancer, that was like the point, that was like a pivotal time for her where she was like, I've been carrying this so long, I've been in bondage so long. She said, I was going to take this to my grave. But when she said she got the stomach cancer, she did not want to take that to her grave any longer. And she said she wanted to speak her truth, and she wanted to let them know how she felt, and she wanted a one-on-one sit down with Ashanti's mother to find out, you basically threw me out, kicked me off your dance team, yelled and screamed at me like you hated me when she claims she thinks that she knew what was going on. And if y'all listen to the interview, you'll hear a lot of different signs. A lot of different signs where a lot of different grown-ups should have knew something wasn't right, something wasn't wrong. And for her to put this little girl off her dance team, tell her that she didn't want to see her anymore, she don't want her house anymore, and she said she just looked at me like my clothes was on backwards or inside out, my hair was all over my head. Me and her man is in their house, and the door is locked, the chain is on, and he won't let her in. And she's banging on the door, screaming on the door, let me in, what's going on in there? And then you just come in and tell her, I don't want to see you anymore. You can't dance with my dance team anymore. But stay with the man. Stay with the man. It's not unheard of, Miss Sislo. It's not unheard of. And that's the thing. That's what I was telling people. This happened back in the day. Excuse me. It started happening, she claims, before Ashanti was born. Matter of fact, hold on. Let me, she said she turned 10 in 74. So that means she would have been born in 64. She turned 10 in 74. So she started going to the dance class when she was 8. So that was 2 years, or 72. So around 72, that's when she met. That's when she alleged she met Tina and Thomas, Ashanti's parents. A year later, she alleges when she was 9. So that would have been 73. That's when he started just fondling her and touching all over her and all that kind of stuff. And then another year later, in 74, when she turned 10, she said that's when the penetration started. And that's when, it went from there. Around the age of 15, she stopped it. She tried to move away, to her auntie's house. He found her, but she eventually, got away from him. He eventually just moved on. She moved on. She grew up. He went his way. They had Ashanti, her career. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Years and years down the line, that's when she decided, I don't want to take this to my grave anymore. I want to speak my truth. So y'all listen to the video yourselves on TK's channel. It is really emotional because even I am not the biggest fan of TK. Y'all already know that. But even I don't know how TK sat there without crying, because I was like, somebody else in the chat said they kept crying. I was like, okay, hold it together, because this lady, the way she was telling her story, was just so emotional. And again, y'all can listen to it for yourself, but it sounds like it could be believable, but these is allegations. So, we got to keep our eyes open, keep our ears open, and see where it goes from here. I'm going to stay close to this story. I'm going to follow this story. You said, how old is Ashanti's mother? Tina Douglas, excuse me, I know they were both in their 20s. Excuse me, I know they were both in their 20s when Stephanie Tyler says that she met them when she started going to the dance studio, or the where the dance group was. And it was actually in, like I said, it was like a boys club center or something like that. They had dancing, they had boxing, they had daycare, they had all kind of stuff in there. But Tina Douglas, I'm looking her up right now. Uh, Tina Douglas, Ashanti. Okay, here we go. Let's see. There's a I'm just laughing at this website that says Ashanti still cannot compete with her mother Tina. Oh wow. Okay, I'm trying to find it. I'm just gonna assume that she was in her 20s around like 74. What's this? 84, 94, 2004, 2014. Probably like in her 60s. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's Stephanie. But I think didn't you say how old is Ashanti's mother? Stephanie was 10 and 74. So Ashanti's mother, she said Ashanti's mother and father were in their 20s. Okay, hold on. I think I found it. Well, Ashanti was born in 80. So Ashanti right now is 38. Ashanti is 38, born in Glen Cove, New York. Okay, it says here that her mother. Where is it? Damn, I just saw it. I hate when you go to these websites to look up stuff and it gives you all this other advertisement and it does not give you what you went to the website for, what it advertises for. Like they're doing it for clicks and views. Yeah, she got to be in her 60s. And she does look young. I've seen some of her pictures. Her mom does look young. That's a good thing. I mean, hey, black don't crack. That's what they say. Now they saying on here, this can't be right. They said on here that her mom is 48. That can't be right because Ashanti's like 38. Oh well, if y'all find it, put it in the chat. It's cause I can't find it. Ashanti's mother. Yeah, I'm like, I'm not even gonna keep looking. I'm not even gonna put. If I find out though later, I will put it in the comment section. But yeah, so anyway, I think that's mainly what she wants. At least that's what she kept saying. She really wants to sit down with Ashanti's mother, Tina. She wants to have a sit down with her, and ask her, why didn't you stop? Why didn't you stop it? Why didn't you help me? You know, did you know? Did you not know? That those She has a lot of questions for Ashanti's mother. As far as Stephanie, her mother passed. And what was really creepy was how she said that when her mother was sick and when she was, dying, that Ashanti's father was visiting her mother around that time. Like, she alleges that, while he was still, having sex with her as a child, he was coming around visiting the. I'm like, what the mess? That ain't that that's crazy. That's messed up. That's messed up. Like, okay, I'm messing around. I didn't rape your daughter. I didn't molested your daughter. I didn't molest your child. But how are you doing? Is there anything you need for me to do? Mm-mm-mm. Just disgusting. Just disgusting. So, oh, let me read the comment. You said she looks about 48. Yeah. Yeah, I really think she got to be in her 60s because, again, if Stephanie alleges they were in their 20s and this was around like 72, 73, 74, around that time frame, um, yeah. And this is 2019. So everybody who just now getting in, because I saw the numbers increase a little bit from the viewers. Everybody who just now coming in, please rewind the video, check the video from the beginning. Make sure you thumbs up this video. Give me a like, please. Share the video on your social media platforms if you would like. No pressure. No pressure. And again, y'all check that video out. It's a lot that I left out. I didn't want to, take too much time tonight because I'm already late because of technical difficulties. I was trying to start at 10 and the stupid OBS kept on messing up. So, hey, Roxanne. Did I speak to everybody? Ooh, did I speak to you, Roxanne? Roxanne. Thanks, Sid. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thanks everybody who tuned in tonight. Thanks everybody who was so patient with me. I'm really do appreciate that because I know the live started like 3-4 times and it kept shutting down. And I first thought I was being flagged or something. I'm like, what's going on? Because I hear about people, like they get emails or something when they know somebody's flagging or something. I don't know. And I was like, that can't be it because, hey, I'm just doing a review. That's all I'm doing is a review. But anywho, you guys, thanks for being patient with me. Thanks for coming back to the live. Some of y'all came back 2-3 times for the live till we got it just right. So I appreciate that. And you guys, make sure I'm going to come to you live a few more times this week, of course. But this weekend, we're going to be on the Hood Table. The Hood Table. That's our other channel, the channel that I have with my sister. It's a collaboration channel. We have a really good subject that we're going to be talking about this weekend. It's going to be a subject that guys and women can relate to. It's going to be on the Hood Table. So I'm going to put that link. Some of y'all are already over there. Some of y'all are already over on the Hood Table since we started the Hood Table like a few weeks ago. But I'm going to put the link for the Hood Table in the description. In the chat. So all you have to do is click on this link and it will take you right to the Hood Table. And make sure you hit the bell, of course. You got to hit the bell now so you can get the notifications. But it's the Hood Table. DA space HOOD space TABLE. Thank you, Roseanne. Roxanne. I said Roseanne. There's a lady at my job named Roseanne. I took over after her tonight at the nursing home. So that's where, that's probably her name probably stuck in my head. But thank you, Roxanne. I appreciate that. And I put the link in there also to the Hood Table. So you guys make sure you go over there because me and my sister, Samantha, will be over there this weekend. We didn't have a video last week because, as I told y'all, she had went on vacation. She was down in the dirty, visiting family. So she literally just got back. She should be, matter of fact, she probably got back like 2 hours ago. Her plane probably landed like 2 hours ago. So this weekend, we're going to be over on the Hood Table. So make sure y'all at the Hood Table. And for those of y'all who don't know about the Hood Table, it's for those of y'all who might have heard about Jada Pinkett Smith's Red Table. She has that on Facebook. She has the Red Table on Facebook. It's kind of along the same lines, but not as bougie. So, the hood table, we keep it real, we keep it hood, not gutter, not ratchet. We keep it hood over there, not too hood. So y'all who don't, they ain't never step foot in the hood, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. No matter what hood you come from, everything that we discuss over there, all our topics is something everybody can relate to, like real talk, for real. So please, you guys, please go over there, hit us up, hit the notification bell, please, and thank you very kindly. I appreciate you. And as usual, Primetime Squad, in the meantime and in between time, stay safe, be blessed, and I'm out. Deuces.